Okay, so, are you ready? We're diving into a song today, a big one. It's more than just a 90s anthem, though. It's Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. I bet you're already hearing that opening riff in your head.
Oh, absolutely.
But trust me, there's a lot more to it. Beneath that iconic sound there lies, like, a whole world of cultural significance. We're going deep. So buckle up, because this deep dive is going way beyond just the music. We're going to unpack why this song resonated so powerfully back in the grunge era, and why it still holds so much weight decades later.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is that to truly grasp Black Hole Sun, you need to understand the cultural landscape it emerged from. Imagine,
Yeah.
the early 1990s. Grunge music was exploding, and it was a complete 180 from the hair metal and pop dominating the late 80s.
Yeah, it was like someone just flipped a switch. Suddenly it was all about flannel shirts and raw motion and lyrics that actually, like, meant something.
Exactly. Bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and of course Soundgarden were tapping into this, like, raw nerve with a generation feeling disillusioned and disconnected.
Right. There was this collective sense of unease. Can you unpack that a bit? Like, what was going on that made Black Hole Sun hit so hard?
Well, imagine a world grappling with, like, rampant consumerism, political apathy, and this creeping sense of existential dread. Young people were searching for authenticity, something real in a world that felt increasingly artificial. Black Hole Sun didn't shy away from that darkness. It dove straight into it.
And those lyrics, so cryptic, so open to interpretation. Was that intentional on Soundgarden's part?
Absolutely. Rather than telling a linear story, Soundgarden used metaphors and ambiguity to create a feeling, a mood. Think about those opening lines. In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows. It's haunting, evocative, and it immediately pulls you into this world of uncertainty.
You know, in our research, there's this quote from an interview where Chris Cornell describes the lyrics as being inspired by suburban malaise. What did he mean by that?
It's a fascinating concept. Think about it.
Yeah.
The suburbs are often seen as this ideal, this symbol of comfort and conformity. But beneath that surface, there can be this, like, underlying current of unease, a sense that something isn't quite right.
I see where you're going with this. It's like the song is peeling back that facade of perfection to reveal the anxieties lurking underneath.
Exactly. And that feeling of unease resonated with a lot of people, especially young people, in the 90s.
Yeah, totally. It's like that David Lynch vibe, you know, where everything looks pristine, but there's this darkness bubbling under the surface. Cornell was a master at capturing that feeling in his lyrics.
Absolutely, yeah. And he wasn't afraid to get vulnerable either. Take the line, "Times are gone for honest men, and sometimes far too long for snakes." There's a sense of disillusionment there, a feeling that the world can be a cruel and unfair place.
And that really comes through in his voice, too. It's raw, powerful, and completely believable. You feel his pain, his confusion, his anger.
Exactly. And that rawness, that emotional honesty is a big part of why Black Hole Sun connected with so many people.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a song. It was like a cathartic release.
Okay, but let's talk about the song's legacy. Black Hole Sun wasn't just a hit. It became a phenomenon. What do you think it is about this song in particular that made it so impactful?
Well, for one thing, it perfectly captured the zeitgeist of the 90s. It spoke to a generation grappling with uncertainty and searching for meaning.
It's like a sonic time capsule of that era. I mean, you hear that opening riff and you're instantly transported back to the 90s.
Right. But it goes beyond just nostalgia. Black Hole Sun has this timeless quality that continues to resonate with listeners today.
Maybe it's because those feelings of unease and disillusionment are still relevant, even if the context has changed.
Exactly. Plus, the song's ambiguity allows for multiple interpretations. People can project their own experiences and emotions onto the lyrics, which makes it feel personal and meaningful.
And let's not forget the music itself. That sludgy riff, the haunting melody, those soaring vocals, it all comes together to create this incredibly powerful and moving experience.
Absolutely. Soundgarden managed to blend elements of hard rock, psychedelic, even metal into this unique and unforgettable sound. They weren't afraid to experiment, to push boundaries.
And they weren't afraid to be, like, raw and vulnerable, which isn't something you always see in harder rock music. It's that willingness to explore the darker side of life that makes Black Hole Sun so powerful.
Definitely. And that brings us back to this idea of legacy. You know, Black Hole Sun has transcended its time and genre. You hear it covered by everyone from metal bands to indie artists.
Oh, yeah.
Even orchestras.
It's true. And every cover brings something new to the table, a fresh interpretation of that same core feeling. Do you have a favorite cover? I've always loved the Brandi Carlile version. It's just so haunting and beautiful.
That's a great one. Yeah, it's amazing how a song can be reimagined in so many ways and still retain its emotional core.
Speaking of emotional cores, I'm curious, when you listen to Black Hole Sun, now, what does it, evoke for you personally? Is it nostalgia for the 90s, or is there something more?
For me, it's a bit of both. It definitely takes me back to a specific time and place, but it also connects with something, I don't know, deeper, something more universal about the human experience, that feeling of uncertainty, of searching for meaning. It's something we all grapple with at some point in our lives.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's like the song gives a voice to those feelings we all have, but don't always know how to express.
Exactly. And I think that's why Black Hole Sun continues to resonate with listeners across generations.
Yeah.
It taps into something like primal, something that transcends time and place.
So we've dug into the lyrics, the context, the legacy, but I think the real question is this. Why do certain songs, like Black Hole Sun, have this uncanny ability to stick with us long after the music fades?
It's the mystery of music, isn't it? The way it intertwines with our memories, our emotions, our experiences. Black Hole Sun is a perfect example of that. It captured a moment in time, a collective feeling, and somehow continues to resonate with us today.
Perfectly said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the enduring power of Black Hole Sun. What is it about the song, or any song that has deeply impacted you, that continues to draw you back in? What stories does it tell you? Until next time, keep exploring those sonic mysteries.